I left a lot of money on the table.
How many properties do you have right now in Dubai?
25, 75 rooms. You don't need to be an expert to set up a business.
This is Danielle. I met her almost 10 years ago. She was working a full-time job. Today she runs 25 properties in Dubai, 75 rooms, plus an AI automation company. And for years, she refused to put herself out there, leaving 5, maybe even 6 figures on the table. So today, I sat down with her to find out what changed.
One thing I've always been very big on, even when we met, was visibility, putting yourself out there. Can you talk to us a little bit about that journey?
Being visible was and still is not my thing at all. Dami was always like saying, you need to be visible, you need to put yourself out there, and in order to grow your personal brand, because personal brand, as we all know, is a big thing now. And prior to that, like, I was not into being visible, and it was actually Dami's wife Tommy who got me on her panel at her event to speak. Followed them by a podcast. I then got invited to more podcasts, more radio interviews, more everything. And then I just kind of got up one day and said, yeah, I need to be visible. So I then started doing more videos and creating a personal brand in the way of providing property coaching to people who want to do what I do.
Now you are visible, right? And you're mentoring others, and you're actually helping other people, which is something that I believe you should have even been doing a year ago. Not necessarily even now. Like, I even feel like this is something that you've even taken too long to do. So, or what do you even say to yourself as to why you were so reluctant at first to be visible? Because even my wife got you on her podcast, she got you at her event, and even my wife is another great example. I was saying to her for years, you need to go online, you need to be visible. And then when she did, look at the ecosystem.
Happened.
So now she's even speaking to you, you're having a podcast, you're going on more podcasts, you're coming to her event. This was all sparked through visibility. And there are people out there now that are refusing to be visible. Let me ask you, what is the worst that can happen? Like, what is it that holds you back when it comes to visibility? Because I'm sure now you've got so many more opportunities compared to what you used to have.
When I look back anyway at my journey, I left a lot of money on the table by not being visible. So when I'm seeing what visibility can do and what it brings.
Let's talk about a bit of the money then. How much more have you made from being visible versus invisible?
So being me and being like, I don't like to say numbers, but I would definitely say like 5 figures. Like,
fantastic.
This is money that would have been on the table, like I said. So people are finding me, people are booking me, people are connecting with me because they want what I'm offering, and they wouldn't know what I offer if I wasn't being visible. So it's massively helped.
When we break down what visibility is, right, one thing I always used to ask myself is, if somebody takes my pound or my dirham or my dollar, how have they got it? And visibility is always key. One thing I always say is, do McDonald's make tastiest burgers you've ever had in your life? Of course they don't, but they're everywhere. They're so visible.
You can't not buy it.
Visibility is like a key pillar of success. Let me ask you this. You've got the visibility, but you don't have the core offering. You might as well not be visible, because you don't just put crap out there as well. You've now sort of like doubled down on systems, which is something that I am really passionate about as well, systems and structure. Can you tell us some things that you picked up about structure, systemization, that kind of stuff?
So like, you guys ran the 2-day event, the business training camp. Would you say like mastermind?
Yeah, it was. I call it a mini retreat. Mastermind.
A mini retreat, and from that, like, I took away a lot. I was already doing a bit of work in the background, but that really cemented a lot of things for me.
What were the main 3 takeaways? Creating
systems, having an offer, but also positioning the offer so that people know what they're going to buy from you.
How many properties do you have right now in Dubai?
25, 75 rooms, 75 tenants that I have to deal with. But moving into my new business, so AI, I had to ensure businesses know that we exist. I had to let people know that I'm available to offer coaching.
Correct.
And so by doing like what you guys were saying about positioning and having an offer and creating a system whereby you can get the eyes onto your business and then funnel them through to you to kind of effectively turn into a booking, there's steps that has to be done, and you have to learn those steps. I had to do a lot of self-teaching.
Obviously, we talk about like organic versus paid ads.
I do both. Something you told me about maybe 3 or 4 years ago, we had like a time where I think it was a bit of a quiet period in Dubai, so we needed to kind of push on ads in order to get rooms and properties sold. And you said to me, whatever you're spending on ads,
double it.
You didn't even say that. You said 10x. You said 10x it. And I sat there and I thought, I don't have a 10x budget. and Dami says these things, and I look at her and I just think, And I said to him, well, I don't have 10x budget. But anyway, I took it. I took what I wanted from the advice. I think in the end I did it like 4 times.
What happened?
Oh my gosh, right. So the ad campaign, we, instead of like getting a couple of thousand views on the page, and also at the time I had to kind of learn how to combine meta ads, so Facebook, Instagram, combine. It wasn't just boosting a post. Like you do have to.
There's a difference between boosting and meta. It's two different
there's
things.
a whole different thing, and I had to learn all of that. Long story short, we got 300,000 views on a single post, which of course converted to bookings.
Let me ask you about that then, right? Because obviously mentoring is something that I've pretty much systemized.
Yeah, you know how to do it.
If someone wants one-to-one, then they obviously have to pay a premium.
Yeah.
But so are you giving these guys one-to-one mentorship? What's the structure?
It's a couple, these guys. Okay. So it's a couple. So it's 1-to-1, but yeah, 1 to 3.
One thing that really stands out to me about you specifically is that you have a very high ceiling. You come across as a very confident person now, and you always have, to be honest. But what was it that held you back from just going all out before?
Probably have a bit of laziness, a bit of not having a system,
not knowing how as well. Would you
probably
say?
Not knowing how, a bit of imposter syndrome, and a bit of what people think. So like a combination, really.
Obviously, look, you don't know what you don't know, and once you know it, you can't unknow it. You never go back.
Yeah, you never go back. But and also thinking it's what I would want, and like you said, don't think
what you would want.
Of
course, you said, caring about what others think, right? I did a video last year now about how it's important not to care about what other people think until you can start paying your bills with other people's opinions. So it's like nothing's changed, right? People probably still have an opinion. I always say, just give them something to talk about, right? They're going to have an opinion regardless whether you post, whether you don't post, whatever you do, whether you wear a Gucci top or you don't, they're going to have an opinion, right?
Yeah.
So give them something to talk about. How do you feel now about other people's opinions?
I don't know. It's a hard one because I'm not someone who overly values what people think. In general, I really don't care. Like I'm very secure in myself in that way. I guess it was just more about the knowledge gap of how to systemize it and actually sell it. Like you got property gurus all the time who are on videos selling a lot of nothing. Yeah. I didn't ever want to be in that category.
You're obviously talking about people that don't have the experience, don't have the properties, they just know how to market, right?
Yeah.
But with things like that, I always say that time will always expose those kind of people, because there's a difference between someone that's been doing something for 10 years and someone that's been doing it for 10 minutes or 6 months.
No, I agree. Like, it's just the not knowing what you don't know and having a system and a product to sell.
How would you say you've implemented what you've learnt into your AI business now going forward?
Oh my gosh, a lot. Like I've had to kind of like just go back to absolute basics and learn so many things. Setting a business up from scratch in a field that I'm not an AI expert, but one thing I learned is that you don't need to be an expert to set up a business.
Correct.
A lot of business owners own a business and they have people that do the actual job.
You don't need to be an expert, but you need people that are experts.
Yeah, exactly that. That was the first thing, like finding the right people to deliver the service that I'm offering, finding clients, leads and generating leads, finding clients. There's a lot of things out there available that help you to do that and help you to kind of funnel customer inquiries through.
So give us a tip, right, in 15 seconds about how you can build a funnel and execute it with maximum efficiency. Because they say you don't understand something unless you can explain it to a 5-year-old.
I think everything just starts with having a database. You need a database of clients.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yeah, of course. You need somewhere to store your leads and you need to be able to track them. 100%.
Yeah, you need to gather that. You need to gather the information of the people that you're going to outreach to. Because until your business is in a place where customers are just coming to you, you have to go to them. And we're such a new business that we are in that phase where we are outreaching. Sure. So in order to outreach, you need to find them. And how do you find them? Well, you need to decide where you're going to target. You need to find that out. There are so many online tools available to you that you actually don't need to do a lot of it manually.
Give us one.
You have tools like Apollo, Instantly, ManyChat, these things that kind of either find clients or message clients or automate you contacting a load of clients. But one thing that I learned recently is that you don't even need these fancy tools. You can use just Google Maps or Google, and there's a prompt that you can do whereby you type in the area, you type in the industry, and you type in email ending, so at Gmail, at Yahoo, at whatever, just to
like data scraping.
Yeah, so you can do data scraping basically. See, you know it. Why are you asking me?
I wanted you to explain it. Of course I know it. I wanted you to break it down for people that that don't understand, because you've touched on something which is really important, right?
Okay.
A lot of people always ask, even like whether it's starting an Airbnb business, which we run, or a cleaning business, which, as you know, we've got one in the USA. Like where people would say, oh, but I don't have any experience. How do I do this? How do I find a cleaner? What people don't understand is there's a system for everything.
Yeah,
and
there
is always more people looking for work than there is work.
Yeah.
So if you can find a way to connect these people that are looking for work, you can help. And then obviously with technology, there's always, especially when it's an admin related task, there is a technology for everything admin related now. Yeah. And if you don't think there is, you just haven't looked hard enough. Do you want to tell the people what your AI company is called? We're going to plug it in anyway.
So my AI business is No Ifs or Bot, B-O-T, Bot.
How did you think of the name?
Because there's no ifs or buts that you have to come to no ifs or buts.
I love that. I love that. It's a good one. So you've implemented everything. You're just a massive success story. What is next for you?
The buzzword is AI. Everybody is talking about AI. And that is something that I can target anywhere. I'm working with clients in the US, in the UK and in the UAE right now. And that just shows to me that actually having a business model where you can provide services to people anywhere in the world. I just want to build on what's already on that trajectory, which AI currently is. I want to build on that time freedom, financial freedom.
I'm glad you said time freedom, right? Because time is the most valuable commodity that we have. You know, one thing I always say to people, and I probably said this to you as well before, is that if you can find a way to spend money to make more time, then always do it. Even now, like I was saying to you earlier, that I've hired a full-time driver simply because it's got to the point where my time is more valuable than money. Essentially, if you can find a way to get your time back by spending money, always do it, because otherwise what will happen is you're going to pay in another way, and the worst thing to do is to pay with your time. And to escape the matrix,
it's the only way.
You have to spend money to get time back. Right guys, so there you have it. Danielle, one of my top students, absolutely killing the game. Just watch this space. We're going to put all her socials and everything that she's achieved and all her businesses down below.
Thanks for having me. It's been great. Thank you.
Guys, listen, one like on this video and I'll make another one next week. Peace out.